Hello students, good evening all. How are you? I hope you all are doing good, and today we are going to see about another topic of nursing education, which talks about the strategies. It means the techniques of different types of learning methods. Okay? So let us wait for the students to get joined. So we have 5 students. Right, we'll begin with the session. As the students join, then we can welcome them. Okay? Got it. So today's topic is about active learning strategies. What it is? It is active. It means involvement of both the parties, the person who is giving and the person who is receiving. So active learning techniques. Okay? Active learning strategies. It means the methods are how we are going to base on active learning process. So what we are going to see today? It is active learning strategies, its types and its concepts. What is what and what are its uses? Okay, we are not going to see about very detailedly, as well we are not going to make it very short also. We are just to see what is the type of the strategy and what are its methods or how it is being proceeded. Okay. Okay. So at the end of the session, what are the things we are going to read about it? It means a team-based learning, a problem-based learning, peer sharing, team-based learning. Okay, we'll see it in detail when you are going to see about the topics. Okay, so team-based learning, problem-based learning, peer sharing, case study analysis, a method of journaling. Okay, debating, gaming. Gaming is also one of the method of learning strategy, and interprofessional education. Okay, so these all are the topics that we are going to cover in today's session. Shall we move to it? Okay. Okay, the first one is team-based learning. Okay, what it is? It is a team-based learning, forming a team. A group is different than team. A group means a combine of members, whereas a team means a combination of members who have a same purpose, who have formulated for the same purpose. That is a team-based learning. Okay, it is a method of learning. Okay, team-based learning is a method of learning. It enhances critical thinking. It means at the time of crisis. Right? At the time of crisis, how we are gonna think about it and how we are going to solve the problem. And it is here, according to the team-based learning, what they are saying is, it is the responsibility of the student to learn. Okay, so learning process here, as it is the student's responsibility to learn. Okay, next, it is applicable to any subject. It can be applicable to nursing education, nursing management, psychiatry nursing, community nursing, right? Whatever may be the subject, this team-based learning is applicable. Okay. Okay. Here, what are the steps that required for team-based learning, right? So, it is pre-class preparation. Before coming for the class, it is the subject matter is already prepared. Subject matter. Okay, right. Next, it talks about individual readiness assurance test, that is IRAT. What is the individual readiness assurance test? It means giving some homework for an individual. It can be any assignment that can be given, or it can be a few questions related to the topic that is being solved before assigning the classes to the student. That is individual based test. It is an individual based test. Next is group readiness assurance test, that is GRAT. So what is group readiness assurance? It means the entire group Commonly the questions are given for the group, maybe for a 5 members or for an 8 members, right? A common set of questions are given and they are asked to discuss among themselves, then they are going to answer it. That is Group Readiness Assurance Test, that is GRAT. Okay, so it is IRAT and GRAT, right? So after giving this questions or after giving the assignment to the students, what we are doing? We are identifying immediately feedback or clarification. It means getting the result. Okay, so getting a feedback from the students, how the test was, whether the questions are understandable, whether the questions are clear, is it okay to have such a kind of a class in future, right? So getting a feedback or a clarification, asking about how the test was. Okay, next is clinical problem or a solving approach. So already we have said it is a critical thinking. Okay, critical thinking, it means solving a problem, giving a problem and identifying how to solve it. For example, the problem is that identifying an iron deficiency anemia, identifying the knowledge of iron deficiency anemia among adolescent girls. Okay, so how we are going to solve this problem? By developing a questionnaire, right? So in this way, small examples are given and the questions are asked how they are going to solve the problem, right? Next is closing the session, right? So first it starts with pre-preparation of the assignment, giving an individual test or it can be a group test, getting a feedback. It uses in a problem solving method, and the last one is closing the session. It is the method of how the team based learning takes place or how it is progresses. Okay. Okay, so what is the role of student in team-based class? What is the student role? We have already discussed that team-based learning, it is a student responsibility to learn. So what is the role of student? It is a student-centered learning. Who centered learning? Student-centered learning. Student is a center of learning method. Okay, learning method. Here, working collaboratively, right? Working collaboratively. It means the group of students. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So this group of students, how they are joining hands to work for a single assignment, working collaboratively, and it influences the interactive nature of the students. Therefore it increases the interaction. So once the interaction is raising, what happens? Ultimately communication will develop. What happens? The communication is slowly developing. And last one is, it is motivated for pre-reading or a pre-recorded assignment. We have already said pre-reading means learning before the session takes place. Okay. So, this is the role of students when it concentrates on a team-based learning. First one is, it is a student-centric. Next, it involves the working in a collaborative manner. How working takes place in a collaborative manner. Next, once the interaction will collaboration, then it slowly develops an interaction. Interaction means how we'll interact only whenever communication is made possible. Yes, so communication level increases, and what happens is it motivates for pre-reading. So this method is the best method. When we are coming for the next class, we need to read about the topic and we have to come for the session. It means it motivates the students so that they can work on pre-reading and the pre-assignment of the topic. Right? This is about team-based learning. Role of student in team-based learning. Okay. So this is all about team-based learning. Now we are going to see about problem-based learning. Okay, so the problem is given based on the problem how the learning takes place. That is problem-based learning. Okay, it is the student-centric instructional strategies. Similar to the team-based learning, it is also student-centric. It focuses on the student. It focuses on the student. Students collaboratively solve the problem. What happens is, here again the students work together. Right? The student works together, guides the students to find the solution of the real world problems, guiding these students to find the solution. Right? We take an example as identifying the knowledge of iron deficiency anemia among adolescents. Okay, this is the problem. So for this problem, trying to find the solution. So now we'll see about how stepwise we are going to see about the solution of this particular problem. Okay, next is it fosters cooperativeness and builds critical thinking skills. It means it encourages. Okay, it encourages what? It encourages cooperativeness, how the students has to work in a group, cooperation, and it helps to enhance the critical thinking. So how a decision can be taken place at a time of crisis and we can overcome the problem. Yes? Okay, this is about a problem-based learning. Okay, here what is the process? How the process takes place? It is presentation of a problem. So what is the problem? Iron deficiency anemia among adolescents. Okay, iron deficiency anemia among adolescents is a problem. So organizing ideas. Organizing ideas means how we are going to carry out the solution for this problem. Right? Here takes place brainstorming. What takes place here? Here takes place brainstorming. Okay, now you people say me, what is brainstorming? Right, you can write in a group. Okay, you can write in a chat box what is brainstorming and how it is important for it. Important for sharing or gathering an idea. Okay. Right. Next is assigning responsibilities among group members. So if there are in a group, if there are 5 members. Okay, if there are 5 members in a group. So first student can make a problem statement. Problem statement. Next student can identify the reviews. Reviews about iron deficiency anemia. Reviews about iron deficiency anemia. And the third one can collect the material to develop a questionnaire. Okay. Material to develop a questionnaire, so that we can identify the level of knowledge among the adolescents about iron deficiency anemia. So in this way, they can assign the responsibilities for each student in the group. Okay. Then asking research question. Research question is nothing but what we are going to do, how we are going to do, why are we doing, when are we going to do this. So what are we going to do this? We are going to assess the knowledge on iron deficiency anemia. Okay. So how we are going to assess? We are going to assess through the questionnaire. Why we are going to assess? We are going to assess to check the prevalence rate, how much is adolescent girls are affected with iron deficiency anemia. Okay, whether they have a knowledge about iron deficiency anemia or not. To identify the level of knowledge of iron deficiency anemia among adolescent, right? To assess the level of knowledge. Then when we are going to assess, so there will be a time period for collecting the data. It can be between 1 to 7th of March this year, right? So we will collect the data. So these all are the research questions which will be solved through the method of a problem-based learning, right? Okay, next is integrating new information. So integrating new information means collecting the new information. So about the iron deficiency anemia, collecting the information from WHO, that is World Health Organization. Next from the UNICEF. So collecting the important information from the highly authorized website or a highly authorized organizational news or the information. Okay. Next is resolution of a problem. It means finding the solution. So how we will find the solution? By data analysis. Okay, data analysis, it means we calculate the amount of information we received through the questionnaire, right? And we will say that how many percentage of the students are having good knowledge, how many of them are having average knowledge, and how many of them are having poor knowledge regarding iron deficiency anemia, right? So this is the way how the problem-based method of learning takes place. Okay, taking a problem and trying to assess the problem step by step and finding the solution of the problem at last. Got it? Okay. Right. Still the students are coming. Let them come and they will join in our class. Okay. Please students, you are almost welcome. Join in the class. Shall we move to the next? Okay. Okay, so what are the advantages? Why do we do problem-based learning? What are the advantages of problem-based learning? Yes, you say along with me. It is a reality-focused and students are motivation. Yes, the iron deficiency anemia is a live example. It is a live example we have taken for studying the problem. And here, students are motivated because students are in a group and their responsibilities are assigned. Okay, and their responsibilities are assigned. Next, decision making skills. According to the responsibilities, what all are the work we have to do? Students will decide themselves what all the work I has to do according to me if I get review of literature. So, what are the reviews I collect about iron deficiency anemia? Now, my job is to prepare a questionnaire. So, what are the source of material I collect to prepare the question? So, in this way, the decision is taken by the students. Okay. Next, it is a multi-stage processing. Yes, we have seen forming a problem, right? Review of literature and developing the questionnaire and analyzing the data, right? So, in between this, there is another method that is formulating a research design. So, this is, I am just giving an example. So, this is the step how it is taken in a multi-processing way. How the problem is solved by step-by-step method. Next is, it encourage discussion. It encourage discussion. The group of students, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Right? The group of students, they communicate with each other and they enhance the discussion. Right? This communication involves discussion. How we are going to do this work? How we are going to identify the solution of the problem in an effective way. Okay? So, communication is fostering here. Okay, communication is fostering here. It means the encouragement of communication takes place automatically. Okay, next is it involves higher order thinking. So, higher order thinking means what? It means it enhances the critical thinking. critical thinking. How to work at the time of when the problem arises, right? So now the problem is about iron deficiency anemia and how we are going to deal with this problem and how step by step we have taken the multi-processing method and how the solution is find out at the last. How the problem is resolved at the last. Okay. So this is the advantage of, and one more point, it's a group solving method. So how it is group solving? Because I already told that it is the involvement of the group. So group together can solve the problem. It is not an individual show. Yes, the group completely involved in a process and they produce a solution for a problem. So hence it is said to be a group solving method. Got it? Okay. Shall we move to the next? Right. Okay, next we are going to study about peer sharing. So what is peer sharing? Peer, the same age group, right? Sharing from the peer. Sharing from the person of our age or our group, right? Sharing from each other. That is peer sharing method. Okay, let's see what is that. So it is a method in which one student instructs the other one, right? So here she or he is a one student instructing the other student. Okay, instructing the other student, and further the next student give an information to the first student. It means they share the information, and first initially one student will instruct, another student will listen to that, right? So here the person who is instructing is an expert about the particular topic. For example, communication. Okay, so one student may be expert in stating what is communication, what are the channels of communication, how the communication process takes place, right? So that person become an expert, and another person who is listening to the class become a novice. It means this person is a listener or a learner. Okay, this expert is an educator, right? So this is about peer sharing between the peer group. Okay. Right. Let us see about types of tutoring. Types of tutoring in a peer sharing. It is instructional peer tutoring. It means two persons are available. Right? Two persons are available for peer sharing. Instructional peer tutoring means one person is giving the instruction and another one person is listening to that and following the instruction. Okay, one is giving and the one is listening. Next is monitorial tutoring. So this two person who involved in discussion is monitored by the another person. Okay, monitorial tutoring. Next is pair tutoring. Pair tutoring means this is one pair. There will be another pair discussing about another different topic. So one topic is discussing about communication. Another one may discuss about interpersonal relationship. Okay, this is pair tutoring. The topics are different, given to the different pairs, and they start involving in discussion about the one particular topic between them. Right? That is pair tutoring. Next one is structural peer tutoring. So structural peer tutoring means here the assignments are given for the peer students by a structural person. It means giving a skill test. Right? Skill test for assessing how much they are efficient in doing the activity. Right? For example, aptitude test can be given. Right? Or mathematical problems can be given to solve. Okay? So this is known as structural tutoring. So how many types of tutoring? Instructional peer tutoring means one is instructing the other. Monitorial tutoring means there is a person who supervise or monitor the method of discussion that takes place between the peer. Now next is pair tutoring. So different pairs are made and different topics are given and they discuss about the topic among each other. Next one is structural peer tutoring. Here in the structural peer tutoring, what happens is it is useful to identifying or assessing the skill test. Right? It means psychomotor skills. So mathematical problems can be given as an example to identify how far the skill is remaining in a person, how far the person is eligible to solve the problem, right? So these all are the types of tutoring. Next, principles of coaching. So in order to make a peer tutoring efficient, so what are the principles to be followed of, right? So the principles to be followed is common language. Common instructional language can be used as English, right, as a medium of instruction. Or Hindi can be used as a medium of instruction, right? Next is the focusing on the material. It means the focusing on the study material. Right? Focusing on the study material that is given for discussion. What topics we have taken? Communication and interpersonal relationship. Okay. Next, providing evidence. Right? It means providing appropriate example. Right? Appropriate example. For example, in case of communication, so providing an example in a hierarchical manner, vertical level of communication and the horizontal level of communication, right? So in terms of interpersonal relationship, giving a communication that takes place between a therapeutic, a treatment-based communication that takes place between nurse and the patient, nurse and the client in the psychiatric setup, right? Where an interpersonal relationship is built between the nurse, it means the healthcare provider and the patient in an professional way, right? So giving such a kind of example as an evidences in order to prove our method of teaching or method of education. Next is necessary interaction, right? So necessary interaction takes place between the peer. Without interaction, without communication, the study method cannot be made possible. So necessary interaction takes place between the, or necessary communication takes place among the peer group, right? Hi Mohammed, good evening. How are you? How is the class going? Please comment it. Okay, we shall move to the next, right? So next is predictability and reliability. It means giving a true information. What information? Giving a true information. It means a factual information. Okay, so that is a true information or a factual information. I told, if you are studying about iron deficiency anemia, right? So giving evidence about iron deficiency anemia is a higher in Tamil Nadu. So searching for an evidence whether this information is right or wrong, right? So how we search? We search the database such as PubMed, Sinhal, right? Sinhal, or some kind of authentic source such as WHO, right? WHO, statistical information, statistics, okay, about statistical information, right? So giving an predictability and reliable information, right? So now comes reciprocity. So what is reciprocity in education? Reciprocity means giving and taking, right? There are two persons in a tutoring, right? The peer. One is expert, another one is novice, right? So here expert gives the information to the novice And similarly, novice also give the information based on his or her understanding. Okay, so here experts give information to the novice. Novice also give information to the expert based on the understanding. Right? So, this is all the principles that are involved in a peer sharing method. Right? So, what are they? Using the common language as a medium of instruction, focusing on the study material, providing evidence, that is EBP. Evidence means that is EBP, evidence-based practice. Talking everything with a reliable source of example, with a reliable source of proof. Okay. Next, necessary interaction, making a communication possible between the peer. Next, giving a reliable, it means a true information, a factual information. Next is reciprocity, learning from each other, sharing an information from each other, right? So, this is all principles of coaching in a peer sharing method, okay? Right, components of peer sharing, it is nothing but what we have learnt as a coaching method, the same here, okay? So, first one is seek, find, identify, right, identify and shares the information. Next is communication with the team. Team members are formed 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So, this is the team. So, if they are not talking, how the team can be formed, right? The important backbone to make a team as a positive outcome is communication. So, that communication must take place among the team members. Next, teamwork. Not only communication is important, at the same time, their goal, their purpose must be focused on same point. Right? They should form for the same purposes, that is teamwork. Next is cooperating with the team, not moving in an opposite direction, all move towards in the same direction. Okay, then only the teamwork can be made possible. Okay. So, next is critical and creative thinking. It encourages on critical thinking and have a new innovation ideas. Right? New innovation ideas. So, these all are the components of peer sharing to make a teaching an effective method. Right? So, these all are the components that are essential in a peer sharing process. Okay? Right. We'll move to the next. I hope you all are understanding and traveling with me. Yes? I guess yes. Okay. Next is, what are the advantages? So, any method, it has its own advantages, right? So, what are the advantages of a peer sharing? It is a safe opportunity. Yes, two people, they talk about the same topic, they give an information and another one receives it. So, it is a safer opportunity. Next is professional tips. For example, one is having a good knowledge on having an interview etiquette. Okay, another one is very new for going for an interview, right? So, the experts can give the tips to the novice, a professional tips and interview tips, etiquettes, how to sit straight, right? Sit at ease, maintain eye contact, lean forward, listen to the question, right? So, these all are certain type of examples that can be given as a professional tips from the expert to the novice related to the point of interview, right? Okay. Next is minimal supervision, right? Here, supervision is required, but there is no a deeper and a consistent supervision. A minimal supervision is essential when the peers are learning. One is instructing, another one is learning. Okay, right. Next is here coaching. One is teaching, another one is learning. Right? Here coaching takes place in between two persons. Next is a feedback. So, expert and Novice. Expert has given all the information to the novice. Now what happened? Now novice in return say how the session was. Right? So now what we are doing? We are learning through the video method. Right? Through the telecasting method. So after the end of the session, you people will be giving a feedback how the session was. Right? So that is known as giving a method of feedback. One is giving an instruction, another one listening to that, at the end giving a suggestions, feedback, saying how the session was, whether it was useful, whether it is an excellent one, or how the purpose has been met. Okay, right. Next is debriefing. So at last, giving a short and crisp summary. Okay, short and crisp summary that how the session has taken place. Okay, giving a summarization of the entire lecture or the entire discussion, right? So these all are certain advantages of peer sharing, right? Okay, next is another important topic, that is case study analysis. Case, particular, right? Analysis, calculation, or analyzing the process. Okay, so that is case study analysis, right? Okay. Okay, so what is this case study analysis? It is a method of teaching. It focuses on a situation which requires some decision or a solution, right? It focuses on a situation. It focuses on a situation which takes step-by-step process. Step-by-step process to find a solution. Step-by-step process to find a solution about a problem. Right? Here the problem is given as such. It takes place in based on the scenario where the patient can be made available, right? That is case study analysis. Okay, here the purpose of case study analysis. What are the purpose? Problem solving approach. For example, right, we can take a patient, that is a case study for analysis, diagnosed with schizophrenia, right? Diagnosed with schizophrenia. So what is the problem here? The person is clinically diagnosed with schizophrenia. So now we need to solve by the method of step-by-step process. Okay. Next, locate, gather and process the information. It means collecting the information through psychiatric history collection. Psychiatric history collection and assessing the patient. How we are assessing? Through mental status examination. Okay, through mental status examination. In this way, we are locating and gathering the information about that particular case. Okay, next, comprehensive care, right? Care need-based care, comprehensive care which is required, right? That need-based care is provided for the patient. Next is critical and reflective thinking. It means, so when the need-based care is given continuously for 5 days. Okay, continuously for 5 days. So here, what is the critical and reflective thinking? It means comparing the mental status examination for day 1 and day 5 and seeing the difference, whether the condition is improved or whether the condition is deteriorated, right? In this way, we use our critical and reflective thinking by seeing the comparative picture of day 1 and day 5. And one more level to see the comparative picture is comparing the book picture with the patient picture. right? What are the things given in a theory? What all are the things we are seeing in the patient, right? In this way, we just analyze critically whether the manifestations are present according to schizophrenia or not. Okay, right. Next is health and social aspects of nursing. It means providing care, right? That is for physical and mental health, and providing support for a social health with the help of family members and friends and the health team members. Okay, in this way, physical, mental and social health are given for the patient. It means the health and social aspects of nursing are met. Next is relationship and cooperation of various agencies in patient's problem and welfare. Right? There are many agencies that are available for the welfare of the patient affected with problems. Right? In case of schizophrenia, there is a supportive association known as Schizophrenia Alliance. Right? Alliance. It is a group or a welfare association which works for the patient with schizophrenia. Right? So, in this way, the case study is being made and identified the entire nature of the case and trying to provide solution for a patient or trying to provide a solution for a case through the analysis method, case study analysis method. Right? So, these all are the purpose, how the purpose is served. Okay. I hope you understood case study analysis. So, what is a case study and what are the purposes of a case study? How we are going to deal with the case in a particular diagnosis or with a particular problem, right? And how the problem is going to solve in a future session. Okay, right. Next is a journaling. It is a new method, right? So, previous methods are in some or other way we have heard. So, what is journaling? By the word itself, you need to say what is journaling, right? Okay, you just think about the term what is journaling and where this journaling can be used. Okay, right. Okay, it is a valuable learning tool. What is journaling? Journaling is a valuable learning tool. It provokes more reflection and encourages students to take charge of their learning and their feeling, right? It means individual centered. Right? It is the individual centered. How the individual is want to learn and what are his or her feelings associated with learning. That is known as journaling method of learning. So, it helps the students to make a connection between curriculum and the world. Okay? It makes the student to learn the connection between the syllabus and the world. Okay? In syllabus, there is a topic iron deficiency anemia. Right? In curriculum, there is a topic iron deficiency anemia and how it is related to the world by seeing the statistics how this iron deficiency anemia affecting the adolescent girls. What are its percentage? Okay, in this way, the curriculum is connected with the external world. It means having a live teaching, right? We are describing about a problem which is common, not something completely based on only an educational method, right? Only for a need of education. No, that education based topic is important for the basic lifestyle also. How to have a healthier life. Okay, Right. So this is about journaling. So it is a valuable tool. It provokes a reflection and encourages the students to make their learning and feelings associated and have the curriculum connect with the external world. Okay. Right. Next, what are the benefits of journaling? What are the benefits of journaling? It means being consistent. Right. See, being consistent means having in a continuous and in the same method, right? It having a continuous process, not breaking or stopping in between, right? It is having a continuous process. Next, giving direction. The person who is instructing, right? They gives a direction how to write. How to write and how to connect. How to write and how to connect. Next, use writing prompts. So prompts means, it means, for example, write about your vacation. That is a prompt, right? Write about your first day in hostel life. Write about your first day in your working place. Write about the first video lecture you are going to take. You have taken already, right? Write about the feedback or write about what are the views that comes in your mind when you are listening to the video lecture. Right? So these all are certain prompts making an open statement. Right? It is an open direction, giving a direction to write. So the child or the person can write in their flow consistently associated with their feeling in a freestyle. Okay? Right. Next is using free writing. That is nothing but a freestyle writing. Writing as an essay. Writing as a paragraph. Writing in a bullets. It means in a point. Okay? Right. Next, review students' work. So, now the assignment has been given to the student to write first day of your experience in clinical setting. Okay? So, what is the first assignment given? It means writing a first day of your experience in a clinical setting. So, after writing, reviewing the student's work, how effectively the student has written, right? How practically they felt, how was their feeling when they are going for the clinical for the first time in the nursing, right? Okay, next is encourage self-evaluation, right? So, student's work is reviewed by a tutor, right? Now, here encouraging self-evaluation. This work is evaluated by the student itself. Evaluated by a student herself or himself. Okay, so that the students will see that how nicely I have written, right? How detailedly I have written. Oh, I missed this point. I could have added this point also, right? Because in the first day, I met a child who is suffering from a temperature of 102 degree. How the child was suffering, right? What are the care that I have given for a child in my first day? Okay, or if a person who is affected with diabetes mellitus, what are the health education I have given for a patient who is suffering from a diabetes mellitus regarding diet? Okay, so these all are the way how we can make a prompts using a free writing and reviewing the student work and making the student to evaluate by himself or herself, right? So this is the benefits of journaling. It is a free method of writing, making a curriculum associated with the external world living pattern, right? Both the theoretical and practical is being correlated, correlating the theory with practice. That is nothing but evidence, giving an evidence based upon our practice, right? Okay. Right. Next, we are moving to a method known as debate, right? How many of you like debate? Right? Generally, in our daily conversation, in our daily interaction, we debate on some points, right? Our likes and dislikes. Okay, one can say that lecture method is effective, and the one is say that lecture method is not effective, right? So keeping their own points, how it is effective, and keeping their own points to state that how it is not effective. Okay, so that is debate. Having a two groups, making into a two groups, and they keep their own point in terms of their own thinking that reflects their thinking process, right? Okay. Right. So it is also a valuable learning tool. Journaling is a valuable learning tool. Debate is also a valuable learning tool. It is in the classroom provides an opportunity to collaborate and cooperate with the groups. See here. There is a mediator and there are two groups, right? One talks about pros, another talks about cons, right? Yes. So, in this way, the groups are made and cooperation takes place among the group regarding to their particular points. Next, students discuss and organize their points for pros and cons. Yes. So, these students discuss about how the lecture method is effective, and these students discuss about how the lecture method is not effective. Okay, a point is given, a topic is given, and two different sides of the topics are given, and the students are asked to convey their points, convey their knowledge, right, through a method called as debate. Okay. Right. So, teamwork is well for the classroom debates. Teamwork is essential for the classroom debates. Students can be impaired as well. It means we can have 5 members in a group and another 5 members in a group. Okay. So, this person can speak individually. Number 1, number 2, 3, 4 and 5. Sometimes what we can do is we can keep a pair. Group number A, 1 plus 1. Group number B, 1 plus 1. Okay. So, these two person talks about one point and the group B talks about the opposite point. Here, individual members keep their views. Here, a person in a pair, right? A person can be joined as a pair and they can keep their views based upon the topic that has been given. Got it? Right. So, this is about the debate. So, how many rounds we can conduct for a debate? It means 2 rounds are formed and the third short round can be added. Okay. 2 rounds are compulsory. If essential, then we can add a third short round also in a debate. Okay. Okay. So, there are round 1 and round 2. Okay. So, what is team 1 and team 2? So, for each group, 10 minutes times are given. So, group number 1, team number 1 we can keep as A and team number 2 we can keep as B. Okay. Team A talks about the positive arguments. What topic we can take? We can take a topic such as pet therapy. Whether pet therapy is useful for therapeutic purpose in patient with mental illness. Yes, pet therapy is useful. No, pet therapy is not useful. The 2 groups. Okay. So, one talks about it is useful. Another talks about it is not useful. Okay. Now, they have kept their own points. Now, what happens in round 2? There will be a question. Okay. The question takes place, why it is useful? And the next question will be, why it is not useful? In first round, 10 minutes time are given. In second round, only 5 minutes are given to keep their point. Okay. So, they say that it is useful and it is not useful. Now, the opposite team raises the question that why it is useful and why it is not useful, right? This takes place in a round 2. So, this is the way how the debate takes place for a particular point between the 2 groups. Okay. I given another example. Mindful eating, right? Effectiveness of mindful eating for the patient with diabetes mellitus, right? Mindful eating means concentrating on the food, having a good peace of mind, and taking the food will have effect on diabetes mellitus. One group says yes, another group says no, right? So mindful taking food, mindfulness, effective method of mindful eating is useful in diabetes mellitus. Spoken by one group, it is not useful in diabetes mellitus, conveyed by the other group, right? This is another example for a debate, right? Hope you understood. There are two groups. One group talk about its pros and cons, means pros. Another group talks about its cons. In round 2, they will have a question. Why it is useful and why it is not useful. Okay? Right. Next, what are the guidelines for a debate? Prepare guidelines. It means it talks about dress code, timing, topic, right? So, fixing certain type of guidelines. Next, to provide resources. So, where do they take the content? Right? Before starting with the debate, a good resource, a good material must be provided. A good material of content must be provided for the speakers. Okay? Right. Next is practice before the session, doing a rehearsal. Right? Doing a rehearsal. Next, dynamic and energized topics are given. Okay, the topic must be more effective, right? Mobile phones are used for the purpose of education. No, they are not used for the purpose of education. This can be a topic. Mobile phone, it is a waste of time. One group can speak. No, it is a conservative time in certain topics, right? And another group can talk. So, such a kind of dynamic and energized topic can be given. And rating rubrics. What does this word rubrics means? Yes, what is the word rubrics? Rubrics means a criteria, right? Rubrics means a criteria. Okay, criteria for evaluation. So, what all are the points that you can evaluate the speaker when they are debating, right? It can be evaluated by their tone, content, effectiveness of their delivery, and their manners, right? It means not becoming aggressive, but by being assertive. Okay, so these all are the rubrics. It means certain criteria that we fix ourselves to evaluate the person who is speaking, right? That is who is debating. Okay. Next, autonomy to the students. It means the students have their own individuality, their own identity. Okay. When they are talking, when they are speaking, they have a mastery over the content. Next is, it facilitates a classroom discussion at the end of the session. So, there are two groups. Yes, and this is a class students. Okay, class students. So, right, when the two group have stopped, it means the debate session was over. Now, the person in the audience, the classroom can give some discussion, can give their inputs. Okay, right. So, it means it is facilitating the classroom discussion also. It means all are taking part in a session, in a topic. It can be, someone can be having a more content to explain, but some may not have that much content, but still they are giving an equal opportunity so that the person who are sitting and listening also can put their valid points. They can share their own inputs. Okay, right. So, this is facilitating the classroom at the end of the session, right? So, these all are certain guidelines where the debate is considered as for. Oh, next come an method gaming. Through game, how we are learning, right? How we are indulging ourselves in a learning process through gaming method. Sorry. So gaming. It is an active learning. What? It is an active learning that uses games to improve students' learning. So, games are used to improve the students' learning, right? So, giving an hybrid games as well it means giving a digital games, non-digital games, right? Different types of games are given in that making the person's thinking sharpen, how to act critically in time of problem, in time of crisis, okay? This learning fosters critical thinking and problem solving skills. That's what we have seen. Yes, so gaming method helps to learn a problem and how to solve the problem. If the opponent is focusing on us, creating an issue, so how to make ourselves adjust so that we can overcome the problem and we can defeat the opponent, right? Okay, it can be achieved through digital and non-digital games and simulations, right? It can be either a hybrid game or it can be a non-hybrid games. Okay, so game-based types of games. It is based on a hybrid space. It means it is an online games. Online or a digital games. Right? What are the digital games? Such as checkers, chess, right? Can be played digitally. Board games, carom board, right? Carom board, and we can have a game like chess again, right? Which can be used as a board games also. So it is used in an hybrid space, an online game as well as the offline game. It can be used, means we can play that physically also. Right? How we can play and how we learn the critical thinking because of playing the game actually. Right. So what are the importance of gaming? What are the importance? What importance we should give when we are gaming? It must be in a safe and simulated environment, right? Even when we are playing, the environment must be safe and it must be under supervision. Right? It must be under supervision and that is more effective in learning because we are learning something new. Right? So there will be an interest when we are learning and that interest make an effective outcome. Right? So we are learning something new, that new provokes an interest, therefore the outcome will be an effective outcome. Yes? Okay. Next is engaging and keeping the learner motivated. Right? Once if we gain score points, right? Once starting scoring points, it will always keep us motivated to score further points and not to give for the opponent. Right? In this way, we can win the game. So, this is the way how a critical thinking can be fostered when we are planning and how we can overcome our problems, right? This can be applicable in our day-to-day life also. So once when we are meeting any problems, how we can overcome that? So it means correlating the games with the practical issues, right? Okay. Yeah. The last one. Interprofessional education. Interprofessional. Professional. It means the role played by the professional people, right? Interprofessional, inter. मनोज जी, सेशन नॉट ओवर बट बीच में स्क्रीन ऑफ हो गया. आई डोंट नो.
आपने वो बटन दबाया क्या?
नहीं नहीं, मैंने कुछ नहीं दबाया.
नहीं, अब तो नहीं आता मैम. प्रॉब्लम भी है. ब्लैंक शो रहा है. यहाँ से तो स्ट्रीमिंग मैंने तो यहाँ से करा ही नहीं.
मेरा.
हाँ. अच्छा, आप चले गए थे. थोड़ा पीछे चलता है ना.
फिनिश होने वाला है.
हाँ, लेकिन ये ऐसे होता तो नहीं है कभी अभी तक, तो आज तक हुआ नहीं. देखते हैं कि वो पीपीटी कहाँ तक से. रिटर्न कुछ मैटर तो रिटर्न मैटर चला गया.
इट्स ओके, कोई बात नहीं. ये तो लाइव में तो चलेगा ना. मैं कंटिन्यू कर लूँ.
हाँ, कहाँ से?
यहाँ से. Sorry students, sorry for the inconvenience caused. Okay, we shall continue with the topic. It means interprofessional education. Okay, so it means an education shared by the professional people, right? That is interprofessional education. Right. So what does this interprofessional education means actually? It is when the students from two or more professions learn about, from and with each other to enable effective collaboration and improve health outcomes. It means, right, there is a patient diagnosed, clinically diagnosed with schizophrenia. Right? Now, studying about the patient and studying about the schizophrenia by different professionals, such as by a nursing student, by a medical student, by a psychological student, and by a student who is doing social working. right? So, how the patient is same, the diagnosis is same, but now how the studying varies between these four different professional group and how they come in together to learn about the same condition, schizophrenia, and share their knowledge among each other, right? That is interprofessional education. Okay. Okay. So, interprofessional education steps. What are the steps that are involved in interprofessional education? It means it facilitates the learning, right? It allows the learning method, right? Next, positive student experience. It means student shares their knowledge, skill and attitude about the patient and about the condition among each other, right? So, knowledge means having a knowledge about schizophrenia. For example, positive and negative signs of schizophrenia. And skill means assessing the level of hallucination, right? Assessing the perceptual disturbance that is present in the patient and having the attitude, a positive attitude towards the patient condition and the patient development. Okay. So, sharing the knowledge and skill and attitude among each other. So, it means sharing the positive feeling about the education and the education method. Next is assess and utilize feedback. Okay. So, each person, nursing student, medicine student, psychological student, students who is doing social working, everyone will give their feedback, right? Feedback, and they will identify which level of knowledge we need to gain from the other, right? So, nursing care, how to give a care we can take from nursing. And in medical, how to identify, clinically diagnose the case, right? Learning about the criteria, ICD and DSM criteria. And psychological student, right? How the psychological therapy, how the therapies can be useful in giving to the patient. And social working, how the other social support can involve in helping the patient to overcome the condition, right? So, in this way, the feedback can be taken from all the persons and they can share with each other. Next is evaluate the intervention, right? Each one do their own activities towards the patient and they evaluate themselves how far the activity we did with the patient is effective, right? How far the activity is effective. Okay, how far the activity is effective. And finally, they share their experiences of learning by each other. Okay, so this is the steps how the interprofessional learning takes place, right? This is all about interprofessional learning. Okay, so what is interprofessional learning? It is the active method of learning where the learning takes place among the different professionals. They share their knowledge, they have their own understanding. It means a perception about the condition and they share their knowledge among each other. And finally, they get feedback and evaluate their own intervention, right? So, these all are about the steps of interpersonal relationship. Interprofessional education. This is all about interprofessional education, right? I hope you understood about the various methods of active learning strategies. Okay, list down what are the active learning strategies that we have discussed today. You just write in a chat box. Okay, shall we summarize? Okay, it is team-based learning, problem-based learning, peer sharing, case study analysis, journaling, debating, gaming, and interprofessional education. So we have learned about 8 different methods of active learning strategies. I hope the session is very useful for you and you have gained some valuable information and points, right? Whenever the session takes place, the important words you just note it then and there so that it will be useful for you for your examination when you prepare for it. Okay, now shall we move towards the important questions? Yes, we can see some few examples of the questions, how the questions will come in an examination, right? Okay. Right. Enlist the active learning strategies. Just enlist. Okay, you need to list down it. It can be in a 2-mark question. Okay. Now next is explain problem-based method as a learning strategy. Right. So what are the things you will write here? You write a definition. Right. You write the purpose, steps, and its advantages. Right. It can be a 5. It can be a 5 or a 7-mark question. Okay, right. So next is case study analysis as an effective method of learning. So here you have to same in the same way you have to write case study method also. But if you give an example, as we taken schizophrenia. As an example, if you give a live example, no, not a live example, if you give an example along with the steps and purposes of case study analysis, it will be very effective stating that the examiner will understand that the student had a good concept about case study analysis so that she or he has written along with the example, right? So this is all about a certain examples, how the question can come in an examination. Right? So I guess you understood the session, you have actively participated in the session, and in certain case of any doubts, you just mention there so that it can be answerable. Okay? I hope the session is useful for you. Thank you for your patient listening. Just keep watching and we will meet soon again in another session. Okay? Bye-bye. Thank you.